Hey YouTube. So episode 10, which was the business episode, has been up on audio podcasts for a few days now. And someone who follows me on YouTube said, "Hey, how come it's not up here?" And I had to explain. So I recorded that episode way back in October before I was really ready to start putting the episodes out. But something had happened and I was like, oh, this is the great teaching subject or talking subject, should I say. And while recording, I didn't realize that there was a focus box on my face. So because I can't get the focus box off my face, I was like, well, I'm just not going to post it. It's going to be audio only. But again, somebody said you should share it regardless. So I am sharing this disclaimer before this video starts. Do not focus on the focus box. Focus on the message. The focus box is on my face. It moves around with my face. And I didn't realize it was happening until it was too late. I had already recorded 36 minutes and I was like, well, I'm not going to do it again. So please do not leave comments about it. Try to look past it. Close your eyes. Do something else. But listen to the message. Don't block the message because you can't, because you lose focus on the focus box. Anyway, that's it. Thank you. Welcome to Curated by Culture. I'm your curator, Cassandra. Thank you as always for joining me. First things first, how's your head? How's your heart? Don't forget to check in with yourself. It is very important. Um, I have, as I'm pre-recording episodes, I haven't started the season yet. Full disclosure, but I'm recording episodes and because I know I have a busy couple of months coming up. And as I'm recording, I had realized that season 1 and season 2, my business episodes were both episode 10. And this is an episode about business. So this is going to be episode 10 for the next season as well. I don't know when you're going to hear this because I don't know when I'm starting the season, but I just want you to keep that in mind that this is pre-recorded. So if you've already heard all this stuff, if it's already been talked about, or if it's been talked to death, because something tells me people are going to be talking about this, forgive me, but listen to my perspective also. Okay. So if you are not on TikTok, I don't know if it's Facebook. If you're not on TikTok, you might not have heard about Keith Lee visiting Atlanta. Now, if you don't know who Keith Lee is, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of who he is. Keith Lee is or was a UFC fighter who suffered with social anxiety. And so he decided to start using his TikTok to record like himself doing food reviews or cooking and things like that. And he has blown up exponentially, doing amazingly well. And he deserves it because he is a good, honest dude who loves the Lord, which is, double kudos for that, and leads with that. So that's who he is. He is in Atlanta right now, or he's just left Atlanta, and he has been leaving food reviews. And he has been dropping the bomb on Atlanta. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I jumped on here to record this episode. So again, I don't know when these episodes are going to air, but this is episode 10. So if you've heard it, that's fine. I'm offering probably a different perspective than anything you've already seen, or if you're tired of it, feel free to not watch. I'm fine either way. So he's been going to these places, trying to leave reviews, trying to taste the food, trying to experience the culture. And he's been hitting like roadblocks. Like he went to Candy Burris's, he went to this place called The Real Milk and Honey. He's gone to all these great places and a lot of Black owned establishments. And he just kept striking out. He's just like, just didn't happen. Like not the way I thought it would happen. And I think these are excellent, excellent business lessons for these business owners. One of the businesses, The Real Milk and Honey in Atlanta, decided to do a response. And in response to his critique of their business, they made like a little diss kind of TikTok where, they're acting like they didn't know who he was, like he wasn't a big deal. And this did not end well. It has been disastrous. It has been like everybody in Atlanta has come out of the woodworks to attack these, not all of the businesses, but they have, been sharing their opinions, not just on the restaurants, but on the hair braiders, the hairstylists, a lot of the service industry businesses in Atlanta. I think a lot of them really do struggle. And I'm saying Atlanta, but this is probably worldwide, especially for Black owned businesses. And because I love us so much and I know that we have it in us, I really want to see us like doing better. A couple of months ago, I think it was like July, I did a TikTok where I talked about Black owned businesses and Black people and how we spend $1 trillion in the economy, but yet our businesses are not where they should be. And I think a lot of that comes from these things: customer service, guest experience, all these other things. So I want to talk about these things. I made notes, which is very rare for me. But I didn't want to forget anything because I thought this was very important. So I'm following my notes. And one of my very first thoughts in this entire thing is Keith Lee is very serious about customer experience. Customer service is one of the most important factors. He might, give you a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8 for the food, but he definitely tells everybody, like, customer service was a 2 or a 3 or a 4. And I think as consumers, customer service should be the top of the list. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So I think in the terms of when we talk about business, especially for those people who want to get into business, the first thing I would say is entrepreneurship is not for everyone. You have to have certain layers. You have to have a thick skin. You have to be prepared for certain things. Like, being in business for yourself is a roller coaster ride. If you are not prepared to live a roller coaster life, don't enter. Like, please do not enter. So for me, and I'm going to use myself a lot in these things. I can talk about Keith Lee and I can talk about these businesses, but that's not my experience. I was sharing that because that's what prompted me to do this episode. But my customers and how they feel is the most important thing to me. One of the first questions I ask when I do get on calls for weddings, or if I do a walkthrough for an interior space, or even if I'm talking about art, is I always say, how do you want if it's a wedding, how do you want your guests to feel? And people are always like so thrown off. There's no right or wrong answer to that question. And I only ask it because I want to know what to focus on in your guest experience. My experience with you, I know who I am. I know what I put out there. A couple of months ago, I had double booked some stuff. But one of the reasons why I double booked, because it was a repeat client. And she was like, when she called me way before that, she said, this is a date. I had something else going on that day. And she said, I really want you to be there. And I said, I'm going to do all the work leading up to that point, but I can't come. And she literally said, Cassandre, it's not that, it's not you, it's not the things that you do, it's how you make people feel that is important to us. Like, our guests love you. All of our friends and family look at you like family. Like, these are repeat clients of mine. And, I was flattered, of course. So I was like, okay, I'll be there. But that guest experience is so important. I literally treat everybody like they are a VIP. If you paid for a service with me, you will get the VIP treatment for that service. I have rappers, I have actors, I have athletes, I have everyday people, I have all sorts of clients. And everybody gets the same level of service. I don't give one person better service or the other. You should never, and that was part of Keith's point. He was like, when they figured out it was him, they were like, oh, no, 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 we have a table for you. Like, in one place where they wouldn't seat him and they found out it was him, they're like, we're going to open for you. And he was like, no, like, if you close for everybody, you close for everybody. He always says, I don't want special treatment. His whole thing is helping to amplify businesses that might not be doing as well, but also to try local food and see what's going on in places. So I think, for everybody, whether it's a restaurant, whether you're in the service industry, hair braiders. Oh, I have a lot to talk about you. I'll get to my next point. But you need to start treating everybody as if though they are the Keith Lee of your industry. If that's Keith Lee walking through your door and you know he has 8 million people who are devoted. And let me tell you, Keith's followers are serious about him. They do not play. And so it's important that you recognize those things. And it's very important that you understand that effect. The Keith Lee effect is real. He has changed people's lives. And anybody walking through your door can literally change your life. So you need to treat every single customer, client as if they're the most important person in the business that you're running at that moment. I juggle a lot of clients at different moments, but everybody gets my full attention. I never say, oh no, I can't help you because I'm too busy doing this. My clients always say, oh, I didn't even know you were that busy. Like, especially when I'm traveling and I say to them, well, I'm traveling this week or I'm doing this. And like, doing what? Are you just vacation? And I'm like, no, I have this client here. And they'll always say, I didn't even know you were that busy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't talk about that with you. I talk about what you hired me for, whether it's your event, whether it's your home, your art, your travel experience, whatever it is you've hired me for. I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to make you feel very special. So understand that. It's not that people are paying for a look or this or that. They're paying for an experience. People want to have that very special experience, whatever it is. If I'm going to a restaurant, what it looks like is cool. I'm not an Instagram person, so that the aesthetics rarely matter to me. But what my experience was like, so important. Did I walk in? Was I greeted? Was I seated timely? Did my waiter come by and make sure I had what I needed? All those things. That's an experience. Everyone, every single person, not just Black people, but every single person on this planet will pay for experience. Everything is an experience. You need to treat everyone like they are equally important and give them the same experience. And from that, you will see not only loyalty in those customers. So a lot of my clients are repeat clients, and I only accept referral clients from repeat clients. Like, I try not to take new clients because I'm not at my big old age. I don't want to jump through hoops and do all these things. But all of my clients refer people to me. If they're having a party, if they're designing their home, if they're looking for art, if they're trying to create some sort of wellness travel experience, all of my clients will refer somebody to me, and they always call me back. It's not so much that they need me all the time either. It's the experience that I give that they feel like is so well worth the price that they have to pay. So that's a first point from my personal perspective of the entire Keith Lee thing. The second thing would be policies and rules and all that good stuff. So he had gone through and broken down how a lot of these restaurants had all these policies and rules, and they charge fees and this and that. And I guess that's a good thing. I will say that policies and rules, of course, state those things up front. And this might gear more towards hair braiders, because I've never experienced policies and rules for a restaurant unless it's like a private membership, private club type restaurant, like Soho House and things like that. But I think the hair braiders, I think this point might be more for you. He did mention the policies and rules, but I don't know if they were a problem. He was like, that's fine. We were still willing to eat. And again, restaurants, I don't know that. But with hair braiders, you guys will have 4 or 5-page policies and rules that you want us to adhere to. And I respect that. You want to deposit, show up, clean hair, this and that. Don't bring your kids. Don't do this. Don't, like, it's a lot. It's a lot, but I get it. But in turn, if you want me to follow your policies and rules, you should adhere to them as well. No? Like, and I say this for my hair braiders, not in just Atlanta, everywhere around the world, because it's always the same story. If you want me to show up on time and don't be 15 minutes late, if I'm 15 minutes late, I'm going to pay. Nail techs are like this too sometimes. You have to do the same. I understand you're trying to follow a schedule. I understand things happen. So we allow for buffers. You should always allow for, if there's always like a 15, 20, 30-minute issue, don't double book. Don't book me in that time. If you know you need a break in between clients, don't overlap. Like, it's not realistic, and people are getting tired of it. You guys are like, in some ways, I feel like you guys are ruining the industry. And that's an unfortunate thing, because some of you have so much talent, like so much talent. And I want to see you winning. Charge your price, set your price, and don't be nice. I'm all for that, but be realistic. You have all these things you want us to do, but what about you? And a lot of times people are scared to speak up about that, because it's like, our hair is important. Like, I want to make sure I get my hair braided. So I think that's one thing. And then on the other side, on the business side, for people outside of hair braiders and nail techs, who, I think when you have rules and policies or fees or things like that, please state them up front. I've run into so many instances with people where it's like a consultation fee, for instance. Like, you should absolutely charge a consultation fee if you have to travel to somebody and do those things. But if you don't state that up front, and then you turn around and say, hey, you owe me $100, people might be taken back. Like, what do you mean? So be clear on those things. Policies are important. Rules are important. Consultation fees, anything that someone might question, take that stuff up front. Make sure they know that they have to pay for it. Make sure that they know that there might be a fee for this, but if you use our services, we'll take it off. That's so important. And sometimes that's something that I feel like a lot of people miss. Like my contract states a lot of stuff, but pre-contract, if I have to go and see a space or go see something, I always say I charge just a travel fee, and I do charge X for my time. It's not something ridiculous. It's not anything out of the way. But if somebody's coming to me, let's say for a wedding meeting or something like that, I'm like, there's no fee for my time. I'm cool to just talk to you. It's a consultation. It's just that type of situation. But everybody does their own thing differently. Just think about what works for you and be clear on it. Like, be very upfront. Another point with the entire Milk and Honey making that whole skip back and, then turning off comments and then clapping back at people and all sorts of things that was like, it's crazy. It's still kind of developing, but it is crazy. I know we hate to hear this. And when I say we, I'm talking about my people. The customer is always right. When it is your business, the customer is always right. Now, if you work for John Smith or McDonald's or something else, and somebody comes in there and disrespects you and you weren't told that the customer is always right, do you, boo? But in terms of business, when you own the business, the customer is always right. Misunderstandings will happen. Choose to listen way harder than you react. Choose to hear every word that is said without feeling like you need to respond. Even if the issue is not you, wait, listen, hear what they have to say, absorb it. Don't, because that can make or break you. And I'm sorry, and I hate to say this, but I see this in our industry, in our, in our businesses a lot. We're hotheads. It's like, if I'm ordering a product, and I order a lot, I love to support Black owned people. I am rooting for everyone Black. And I mean that with every fiber in my body. I am always rooting for my people, always. But if I call you and I say, hey, I ordered this thing 3 weeks ago, if I have to keep calling you and then you hit, well, wait, or, you go on, and I've seen this happen. You go on social media and now you're attacking people because the product didn't go out and your friends are in the comments agreeing. That's a surefire way to get your business shut down. Like, you will never sell another thing. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not how this works. We are consumers. People who are buying from you are the consumers. They're the people who make or break your business. You need to listen to what your consumers are saying. If I ordered something and I'm telling you this happened or that happened, misunderstandings do happen. So understand that. Sometimes we don't understand each other. I'll use hair braiders again, especially when they're going through text and they're doing multiple heads and they're doing this and that. You might text something. I had a girl who was braiding my hair text back and she got like smart with me. And I was like, I was really taken back by it. Lucky for her, I really needed my hair braided, so I didn't say anything. But I really felt like, you know, you got to switch your tone up with your clients, because I can either leave you a good Google review, leave you an extra tip. Like, you have to think about all those things. So I know we hate to hear it, but the customer is always right. And we really need to find a way to be able to absorb the things that really, once they leave, say what you got to say. If you want to talk about them, if you want to just, oh, I'll never do business, even if you'll never see them again, you have to choose to be the bigger person. Now, if they are flat out wrong, if they are flat out disrespecting you, do what you got to do. I'm with you on that. Like, I have a clause in my contract that says, like, you're not just going to talk to me any kind of way. You're not going to treat me, but I'm going to warn you. It's like a first time is a verbal warning. The second time I might say, or listen, we are this close. And if it happens live on an event, or I'll walk off. I don't care how much it's done. I don't tolerate disrespect. But understand that it's not always disrespectful. Sometimes it's just the customer saying, hey, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. So remember that the customer is always right. And you should always conduct yourself in a way that even if they never call you again for another thing, give them something that they can't give you a bad review for, right? So if it's a product, here, you're going to get it, you're going to love it. I'll never use it again. I'll never call you again, but it was great. I have a lot of situations like that where I'm like, I'd never order from them again, but I did like this or I did like that. But my experience was, it left something to be desired. I get that. But always conduct yourself in that way, that you can still get a good review and that they can say nothing negative about you. Like if somebody said, hey, you like that? Yeah, I do like that. I wouldn't buy from them, but it's great and I do like it. I have a personal issue or whatever the case might be. You have to remember that that's part of your, this is your business. This is how you do business. So that is very important. One of the biggest points, and I think this is like my fourth point, I lost track because I was numbering them, but now I'm looking at my notes and they were kind of all over the place. Business is not personal. That's why I say it's not for everybody. Business is not personal. This is not your home. These are not your homegirls or your homeboys or your friends. Business is not for and because of that, it's not for everyone. You have to be open to criticism from someone and not take it personal. You can't take everything somebody says to you and clap back. You can't do that. You have to remove every single personal emotion that you might have in business and treat everyone, try to listen. Again, you have to listen more than you respond, because it can be the breaking point of a really good business. And if you have a great service or something to offer people, you have to remember that I have to remove the emotion from this so I can be successful. If you're a capitalist, hey, you're going to throw anything at anybody and you won't care. But none of us should get into business for capitalism. Everyone should get into business for passion, for the things that we love, and to provide for our livelihoods, right? So you have to remove any emotion from business, be open to criticism, and do not accept it as hate. Now, if somebody's hating on you, again, different story. Hate is hate, and it should not be tolerated either. But remove emotion from it. Criticisms are important. I actually host post events. If I have an event, I host a post event call with most of my clients. You know, how did you feel? What was good? What was bad? I ask for all sorts of feedback. I rarely ever get any bad feedback. Toot, I am tooting my horn. And if it's like an interior project, I do a final walkthrough. I do not leave. It's not done until I've walked through with you. We've talked about the space. I walk through the intentions of the things that you might not have been aware of. I point out the things that I feel are important. And if you still, I'd really like, I'm going to finish it until you say, okay, this is good. I love it. And that's why I keep my clients coming back. I work on, like, I'll start with a wedding. It'll go from like engagement party to wedding to baby shower to interior design for the home. And a lot of my clients are long-term clients. And that is so important to me. That is why I can run a business without having to constantly post on social media, or I'm not, my DMs are closed. I don't want, like, unless you're my friends and we're sharing jokes, I don't want new clients who are going to try to price gouge me or do all these things. It's important that you're open to criticisms from your clients, because that openness of a critique from your client is what builds, one, a great relationship, but two, it helps you to grow. I've learned so much in my 20 years of doing events and doing interiors and all the other things that I do from those conversations. Like, how can I improve? How can I be better? What can I do or say to make my business, make your experience better? And that should be important to all of us. That is just a business. And again, none of these are just for Black people. They're for all people. But because I want to see my people grow, I'm giving you these tips because I want to see us doing all the business. I want to see us out there having all of the accolades that we deserve, because we have so much to offer people. Another big thing, this is to Black people, we need to be okay with us holding each other accountable. I walked into a store recently. It was Black owned. I was looking for some things, and I watched this girl serve customers, whatever. And there was a couple times she might have dropped the ball or whatever, and when I came up, I had ordered something, so I was picking it up. She and I were talking or whatever, and I had told her I was running. She's like, and I said, I wanted to offer you, not a criticism, but my personal thoughts from what I experienced. And I said, and I led it with love. So she was able to receive it in love. But sometimes I think, and she said this to me, she was like, somebody else, I might not have been able to take it. We need to be okay with each other we need to be okay with holding ourselves accountable. One thing I also saw from all the Keith Lee stuff is I'm seeing people attacking him like, oh, why are you attacking Black owned businesses, or why are you doing this? It's always we need to be okay with holding each other accountable. If not us, then who? I don't want somebody else that doesn't look like me telling me about me. Tell me, hold me accountable for my actions. That's so important in business, but also in life in general. Like, you need people to hold you accountable, don't you think? Like, how else are we supposed to grow if we don't have anybody to say, hey, hold yourself accountable, be accountable, do this, do that. If you said you're going to ship something, don't make me email you 11 times to get it, to have you ship it. I'm holding you accountable. The first time I say it, that's the second time, I'm like, okay. Now you're getting mad at me for saying something. That's not cool. Are you treating other people like this? How is your business surviving? If you order something from Gucci packs it, ships it when they said they're going to do it. If it's not in stock, they let you know when it might be in stock and they ship it. Why should I not expect the same from you? Why should it be different? Why should I have to chase you down for my product that I paid for? Why are you changing things? Why are you changing the game in the middle of the game? You can't do that. If you said, I have this hoodie or this item for you, and I place an order, and you told me, now I did have this one girl say it's 7 to 10 days before I'll ship it out because it's my initial launch and did it. And I was like, okay, cool. It makes sense. Like, she does a one-time launch. She doesn't do it all the time. Understandable. But it was 20 days later, and I had not heard a peep from this girl. Now, I gave her grace with that extra 10 days, because usually at day 11, I'm like, is there a tracking number? Hello? What's going on? But I gave her grace and 10 extra days and nothing. And so now when I emailed her, 2 days later, she responded. And I said, hey, listen, as a consumer and a business owner, da-da-da-da-da. And she snapped at me. And I said, And that's it. Even if this product is great, and I waited for the product because I wanted to try it, I'll never order from you again because the customer service was terrible. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. She was charging a premium price too. Let me share that. And that's another thing. I had a note there, and I had a note someplace, but now I can't find it, of course. But if you set a realistic price, and this is the thing, she charged a pretty penny, but I felt like it was realistic for her business. People were in the comments like, you charging too much for this. Da-da-da. These are the same people that will go and drop a bag at Gucci, but they come to us and they're like, I need a discount of that. And that's something I can't stand that my people do, but I feel like I've talked about it already. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but y'all need to stop asking Black owned businesses for discounts because we Black. How am I supposed to succeed? How are you supposed to succeed if I ask you for a discount? But I don't want to get sidetracked. If you set a realistic price and an honest and fair price, and you say I'm going to do these things, I expect the same in return. I expect that for your premium price, for both the product, for shipping, and all this other stuff, that you will do that as well. When I got the stuff, she came back and said, oh, we were having some issues with packaging, so we had to change the packaging or something to that effect. And because of that, I have to change the prices. Whoa. Again, the packaging is on you. If you are selling items and you are charging X for this, X for that, X for this, and then something happens along the way, and then you realize, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't change the game in the middle of the game. Again, that's not how this works. That's not how business works. So if you do not know how business works, my next point, if I had one, because I've lost track of my notes here, because I do, just like I go all over the place, I write all over the place. If you can't, wait, what was I just saying? You can't change the price in the middle of the game. And oh no, the next point is this: if you don't understand how businesses work, take a course. There are free business courses everywhere. Ask somebody to shadow them. If you want to be a great hair braider, find a great hair braider giving an exceptional service and say, hey, can I shadow you? Training is available to you. Reach out to people who are doing the same thing. Say, hey, I'd like to buy you coffee. I want to learn like what you have discovered or what you figured out about business. And I want to try to, not mimic you, because remember also, we're not each other's competition. We're not each other's competition. There's 7.5 billion people on the planet. You know how many hair oil products there are out there? There are like 1 million hair oil products, and they're all doing well. We are not competition to each other. There's enough for everybody to eat and eat fairly. Don't be a ripoff. Don't try to, scam people. Atlanta. Scam Lanta. Don't try to do those things, and you will find success in your business. Whatever you define as success, but I feel like when I think about business, when I think about my business, I think about excellence in business. This is the one thing my clients always say. I have a friend who's also a client, Tracy, who always says, I have impeccable taste. And she says that to me, knowing I can find you the most expensive high-end product, but I can also find you the best, most affordable, same type of product. That's how I operate. I operate in excellence. Everything I do in my business, I want to do it excellently, because it's not that I'm trying to, uh, I'm not trying to be the best of this. I'm trying to be the best for my clients. I want to be their best option. You know what I mean? I don't rate myself as a celebrity this or so, because I think those titles are silly. Do my clients tell me that? Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the most important thing to me. I'm going to do a quick humble brag if I have like 5 or 6 minutes left. Last month, for those who don't know, I was featured in Architectural Digest, not the magazine, but the online thing, which I kind of think is cool when they visit somebody's house for one of my clients. Please go check it out. It's on my Instagram. It's on YouTube. There's a link in my bio if you want to see. But I was in Architectural Digest for Carmelo Anthony's house. I'm so proud of myself, because it was one of my goals. And I think another point that not in my notes, but off topic, set goals for your business too, and watch them, watch it, try to check them off, and watch yourself grow and keep achieving them and keep setting bigger goals. So, years ago, I was like, I want to be featured in AD one day. And it's happened. And for me, and this is just me, I'm a one and done type of person. Once I can do it, once I can achieve it, I don't need to keep achieving. I don't need to be in AD 20 times. If I get in there 20 times, great. But I'm not going to keep chasing that. That's something I can check off. I've reached every goal that I put on the shelf for me, high on the shelf for me to reach. And this was a big reach because, if you're into interior design, Architectural Digest is a big deal. And so proud of myself for that. That was my little, my little own humble brag. And in the process of doing that, I reached out to all Black-owned businesses to help me work it. And I've been reading the comments on AD for the last month and seeing people say like, this is a really Black house, and and that made me feel so good because my work shined through. And so, down to the HVAC company, Yadi and her husband, Good Deeds, so many people I want to thank that I will eventually thank, but they were all Black-owned businesses, Black women, or brown as well. I did like some Filipino people, but I really worked to reach out to the people that a lot of the AD designers don't reach out to, right? There's always this high-end brand, Schumacher, and this and that, and don't misunderstand. They're great brands. I love them too, but I am so invested in my people that I really want to see us winning. I want to see us getting these awards and these rewards and all the accolades that we deserve, because we are great people. Those are my business points. I hope you enjoyed them. And I think my last business point is this, and this is to me the most important. And I've talked about this on the other 2 business episodes. What are your core values for your business? One of the main reasons I got into business for myself was I didn't want to have to answer to anybody. I did have a job at one point and I hated it. I was miserable because I had to answer to people and I had to do this. And, as a Black woman, we're always labeled as assertive or, angry or these things. Not assertive. They don't say assertive. Assertive is actually a nice word. Angry and all these other things. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. So that was the main reason I got into business for myself. Because the only person that can manage me is God, right? He's the CEO of my business. He's the reason for everything. He leads all my decisions. I'm so rooted in that, and it's so important to me. And with my core values comes the idea of my freedom. You know, it's going to get a little sad for a moment, but right now we're watching something horrible happen in Palestine to Palestinians, and people are very scared to speak up right now. And I understand that. I'm always an understanding person, but I have been speaking up, and because I'm speaking up, I've lost some clients. I've lost friends, and I have to be okay with that. Core values of my business are led by God. None of what we're seeing there's no God in what we're seeing. This is all evil. And being able to use it's not a huge platform, but hey, I got like 5,000 people that follow me. I think it's important that I use my voice just as much as I can accept and receive everything else. I think it's important that I use my voice. And so have core values. My values are out there. They're out there. I stand on them. I do not want to do business with anybody that would be okay with the murdering or killing of innocent people. If you don't like that I speak up about that, I'm okay with losing you as a client. I am. I feel very strongly about this, especially right now, because I'm not seeing anybody in my industry speak up at all. And I'm like, you would be okay with somebody killing people that look like me? That makes me sad. That really does make me sad. But ultimately, those aren't my people. My business is God-based. It's led by God. I trust God, and I trust that whatever's coming is whatever's for me is not gonna miss me. And I'm gonna believe that in this moment as we navigate this. I hope this ends soon, because this is like, it's so uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable time, and I'm speaking up, and I'm posting, and I'm watching my numbers just and that's like crazy to me too. But it's like, I don't really care about that, so that doesn't bother me. Now, if I lost my core clients, my long time clients, and they they didn't like what I said, I respect that and I understand that, but I believe that great new clients are coming from me. I do believe that. So that was my business episode. Sorry it took a little left, but I had to say that because I wanted to end with that. If you don't know what's going on, please let's keep our eyes on poor Keith. He's getting death threats and everything. It's crazy. But I hope you go out there. I hope you build the business. I hope you do all the great things. Follow me on all the platforms. CXC, Curated by Culture. I'm on YouTube. This is episode 10. I know that because this is the business episode, but I don't know what's come before it, and I don't know what's coming after it. And I think that's it. Thank you for listening. I love you, Mom.